It's a guiding framework of developing a collaborative approach to talking about on a regular basis curriculum, assessment, and instruction. You know, a great implementation of this at the building level would be, we teach a concept Monday and Tuesday and do a quick assessment on Tuesday. Wednesday afternoon, the teachers get together and they talk about the assessment results, who were successful, who wasn't, and they go back and they review their teaching. And they identify what were the most successful teaching strategies. And then on Thursday and Friday, when the kids come back, we quickly adjust teaching strategy to get to the more effective strategy to get more kids to engage in and be successful in the learning.
In the current educational system, the time for learning and the support for learning are regarded as the constants. And learning is a variable. Some students learn and some students may not. In a PLC, we operate from a very different premise. Learning is the constant, and time and support are the variables. So in a PLC, the 4 critical questions are determined in a consistent and systematic way that ensures that each student has additional time and support for learning when they need it. In a PLC, teachers have an opportunity to clarify the essential learning outcomes, to review evidence of students' learning, to intervene and enrich based upon that evidence, and then also to learn and grow collaboratively and to continuously improve their teaching.
Well, the purpose of schools is to ensure student learning. And so if we really are committed to that mission, we need to ask ourselves some questions. First of all, what is it that we want students to learn? What's that guaranteed and viable curriculum that will be sure to provide our students aligned with the Common Core state standards? And the second question becomes, how will we know if our students are learning? We need to have in place a balanced system of both formative and summative assessments that help us determine if students are learning what it is that we want them to learn. And as we know, all children are unique. They're going to learn in their own way. So a third question becomes, what will we do when students encounter difficulty? How will we provide support and interventions to these students as they need to work through what they're having difficulty with? And the fourth question becomes, what enrichment will we provide to students who are already proficient? And so this becomes the work of our professional learning community that we work on Wednesday afternoons.
Right now it's kind of overwhelming for the teachers a little bit because it's an awful lot. When they came in, it was kind of like, okay, what are we going to do with our time? Now they're saying, okay, we don't have enough time. And there's a lot of work to be done to really understand what the standards are and developing these common formative assessments, these assessments that they can test the kids on and make sure that they do understand it, and what do they do if they don't understand it. I see them as time goes on getting much more comfortable, but what I'm really seeing that's a benefit is the powerful collaboration between the teachers. This staff here, and I'm sure it's probably common district-wide, are very good at getting their thoughts out and challenging each other on their ideas and being okay with that and coming up with what would be the best strategy, what's the best way to assess the kids. That time where they can work together and collaborate has been phenomenal. But this early release time gives us all a common time and across the district to do this type of work, which is critical. We try to piece 20 minutes here or 30 minutes here, but we really need that block of time to get deep into the standards and into the data and make good decisions about how we best educate kids. The major thing that's going to come out of this whole thing as we go through this is better learning for our students.
When I heard about PLC, I took a class this summer and then I actually talked to my uncle who is part of a PLC in North Dakota. When my uncle started talking, and he's a principal, when he started talking with the passion that he had for PLC and what was going on in his schools, I knew that it was something that we really needed to dig into and learn about. So to really have the opportunity on Wednesday afternoons to dig into those standards and work with our students has really been beneficial. As teachers, you always want to do the very best you can to teach the kids what you're being asked to teach. But having the time to truly dig in with your fellow colleagues and making sure that everybody's on the same page and making sure that what you're teaching is what they're teaching, and when you read a standard, what you think the standard means is what they think the standard means, so that then you can become more on the same page and you can be confident in what you're teaching them. A specific example I can think of impacting me as a teacher is sitting in a PLC meeting and we're discussing a standard, especially in reading, that was something I'm very passionate about teaching, and as we were discussing it, somebody said something about the standard, and because we had used the form and we'd really broke it down and we were really kind of hashing it out, and not everybody in the group agreed, it totally changed my thinking about a standard. And so I've been teaching something one way for 8 years, and then this year I found myself teaching it totally differently because of the conversation that we had. And if I wouldn't have had that conversation, I wouldn't have taken the time to change my thinking. And so I think that that really shows that the power of sitting in a PLC meeting and having true collaboration, you're able just to hear what other people are thinking, and it truly changes how you feel about what you're teaching.
I would like parents to understand that the time that we spend during our professional learning community time is not on tasks. The staff, they don't take that time to do their paperwork, those types of things, running off copies. They take the time to actually focus on the lessons so that they can do some effective teaching, and they take time to study student learning through assessments that they have given, through some formative assessments that they have as a group delivered to their students. And once those assessments are given, then the teachers analyze the results, and so they're making decisions based on data versus just on how they felt the tests went or the assessments went. One of the biggest changes that I've seen is the collaboration part of it. When I first started teaching, you definitely taught in isolation, and as a brand new teacher, you had to learn a lot just by trial and error, and what you heard maybe has happened in other classrooms. There wasn't as much literature available to refine your practice, which is extremely important. And that's the difference that I see today. We have a lot of literature available, a lot of research-based data and program that's available for staff to access to refine and improve their teaching. We have a lot more collaboration where instead of teachers teaching in isolation, they're actually getting together, discussing what's happening in their classroom, discussing student learning, and making instructional adjustments based on those conversations.